Hey guys, so I'm joined here by Cassandra and Evan, and of course Eddie, who
Woohoo.
just closed on their first purchase in Oakland on just before New Year's Eve last year. So they just moved in, and I'd love to start off by asking you guys what the experience of purchasing was like for you and with us, and if you had any kind of highs or lows that you would want to share to prospective buyers.
You want to go first? You want me to go first? You can go. All right. Well, the experience seemed to be, it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And it moved really fast. But I think, the tip I could give prospective buyers and why it was so easy is because my wife here kept great lists and kept us very organized and kept us on a schedule. So everything happened before it was needed, and we were never waiting and worried about missing any deadlines. So I would say, keep yourself organized, create a schedule for when you need things by, and you hopefully won't run into any problems like us.
Awesome.
I enjoyed the flexibility that Haley and Eddie provided for us, because it seemed like things were really slow for a while, and then all of a sudden it was we needed to be there, we wanted to be there, we had questions all the time, and they were always getting answered, which was awesome. The low for me was just having to curb my own expectations. I found that very hard to do. And I did not want to do it. I wanted everything. So I don't even know how I'd approach it next time, because next time I'm going to want everything, and it's going to be very difficult to convince myself I can't have it. But we were very, very happy with the house, and it is exactly what we were looking for. So
Awesome.
I would like to add that the schedule we created was because you guys provided us the documentation and actually the things we needed to create the schedule. So yeah, that was good for us as well.
We like to keep a process. Yeah. But Cassie, your notes, when you showed me your notes app with your like list of things to do in the first month and the first year and the first 5 years, it was like, it blew my mind. It was so impressive. So one of the lessons here is like maybe get a Cassie,
Yeah,
find one of those.
We love, just to throw in my own thing, we love the fact that normally we have a process too where we have little reminders as we're about to get to something to be like, hey, this is on the coming up or on the agenda, and every single time from you guys it came back, oh, done.
Yeah.
We're like pretty
Definitely
impressive.
the smoothest transactions that we have always are when it's kind of like a second job, right? Like, so if you're working full time and you're also doing this, it's a lot to handle. But if you guys were just on it and you were reading ahead on the things that we were sending you, like, hey, this is going to be coming next week, and you had it prepared and ready, so you weren't like blindsided, which I think made it a lot smoother for you. So props to you guys for doing that. Anything that you would tell, friends or family that are thinking about buying? And I know that, we kind of started a while ago, and then we kind of took a pause and came back to it, and then kind of hit it really hard. And so, is there anything that, you would pass on to friends or family that are thinking about buying and potentially calling us to help them buy?
Don't be afraid to be transparent. Like you said, we were looking to buy over a year ago, and we had to step away, and we were clear about that. And the minute we wanted to come back, we were welcome back, and immediately picked up and took off. And any issues or anything, we could easily communicate, especially with you, and get a response. And so it was just nice knowing that we could be as open as possible. And even if we needed to stop, that was perfectly could. If we needed to pick back up, if we slowed down, if we sped up, everything was good. So the transparency really helped me in this process, and I think it would help others in the process of just being able to stay true to what you want, as long as you're vocalizing that.
Absolutely.
I would say don't be afraid to ask, Haley or Eddie questions. I had a lot of times where I was like, oh, I shouldn't have to ask that, or I was worried, like, I'm making you guys, I'm asking too many questions or something because I didn't know. But Cassie's like, yeah, that's what you guys are there for. So, and you guys were always very prompt in your responses. And if I had needed clarification or more of an answer, you guys were there to do it. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions is what I would say.
Great. That's great recommendations. Transparency is key. We tout that. And when we do consultations with people, like the most important thing is just to be open and honest with us so that we know where your head's at and like we can help you or give you space if you need it. And so, that's a wonderful piece of advice, I think, that we also really appreciate. So,
well, I really thought it stood out with this house because we looked at this house in September, I think, together. And then we thought about it. We decided we weren't going to make an offer. And then we just communicated that and you kept looking at other houses. And then we came back to this house anyway, like 3 or 4 months later. So, and it was just a very easy, smooth process of this is where we're at, this is where we're going. And it ended with a very positive thing for us. So,
yeah. Well, that brings up a good point too. Just the last thing I'll say is that, you guys, I remember that first tour that we went on, we saw that house and you were like, I love it, but we haven't really seen a lot. And we don't know if it's like, we love it and it's great and it's perfect, or if like, we'll see other things. It's really hard to find the one really early on because you don't necessarily have the perspective that you need. And so, we were lucky and the house was still available. So that was like very, fortuitous, but I think that is just like a lesson in kind of just like listening to your gut and knowing that even if you love something, like it's okay to keep looking and get that perspective that you need to feel comfortable that when you do eventually, if you do buy them, and we didn't rush into it like on the first go ahead. So although we do have a little bit of a rushed market here most of the time, when we can take those moments to just like back up and kind of say, hey, is this right? It's really valuable and important.
Yeah, it's and ultimately the right house finds you don't find it. So so it was it's a process to get there, and that's and to get into it's so exciting. You got such a great place, and we're like so happy for you. It's fantastic.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we can't wait to see some parties in that yard of yours.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. Really appreciate you doing this with us. And, we'll miss working with you, but we really look forward to seeing you settle into your home.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.